Harlem Portrait, the show that aims at shedding the light on the fundamental contribution of African Americans to the building of this country and on Black excellence. To talk about Black excellence today, we have Hollywood veteran actress comedian Phyllis Yvonne Stickney, world-class artist, producer, director, and motivational speaker. Welcome to my Harlem Portrait.
Thank you so much, Maria.
I'm so happy to have you.
Finally.
With us. Finally. It took us some time,
Yes.
but we finally got here.
Yes.
And we are in the village of Harlem,
Yes.
which is where you started your amazing career. But let's start from the end, from the last few days. You were recently hosting the Black Genius in the American Theater reading with fellow actor Harry Lennox.
Yes.
And this was to celebrate the renowned Billie Holiday Theater's 50th anniversary in Brooklyn. Tell us about that experience, because the people, the actors who were there were the top. Tell us a little bit.
Well, the Billie Holiday Theater is in the village of Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
It's on Fulton Street, and it did celebrate 50 years. There was first Mikkel Pinckney was the artistic director, and then Marjorie Moon was the artistic director, and then Indira Etwaru was the artistic director. Under Marjorie Moon, I had an opportunity to do a play back when I first started as an actor in the theater. And for me, going back to celebrate 50 years, it was recently during the pandemic that we did 50 in 50 women writers that they featured. And so it was my return to the Billy and gave me another level of love and appreciation, because I had an opportunity during the pandemic to work. We did the readings of these wonderful women's writers. So the 50th anniversary was co-hosted by Harry Lennox, as you said, and myself. People know him from 5 Heartbeats, and he's currently in a television
Blacklist.
series. Yes, Blacklist. Thank you. So it was exciting because I got a chance to see Pauletta Pearson Washington, who is always wonderful. Denise Durst, who is an amazing actor. Terrence, oh my goodness, who I hadn't seen since What's Love Got to Do with It. But it was exciting because there was so much history to remember and go back down memory lane to remember these plays, Innocent Black and the Five Brothers, The Past in the Past. Oh my goodness, to hear some of the Old Settler, some of the plays they produced. So for me, it was exciting because I love theater, and that was a night of remembering and hearing scenes and excerpts from beautiful works.
And you were also not only hosting, but you were in one of the excerpts.
Well, yes, it started that way, because I think did you come the last night?
Yes,
you came the last night. So I didn't. I did the Maya Angelou. I Rise.
Yes.
So I had an opportunity to breathe life into those words.
Yes.
So yes, I did have an opportunity to work as an actor a little bit.
And that was wonderful.
Thank you.
Still I Rise. The way you did it.
It was
amazing.
And the dance. It was
yes.
Diane Harvey Salam was the choreographer, and 2 of her amazing dancers from Forces of Nature did the some choreographed movement to that piece. And Rashim, who was our musical director, played the upright bass. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful marriage of those 3 art forms.
It was an amazing, amazing afternoon.
Thank you.
We have also recently seen you in the Showtime original series, and you're best known for your work in film, in stage and television and comedy, but you started your career in theater, right?
Yes.
Here in Harlem.
Yes.
And you were one of the few, if not the only woman there.
Well,
Tell me about that.
Well, New Heritage Theater was actually the theater that gave me an opportunity under the direction of the late Roger Furman. It was under his tutelage that I had an opportunity to just for 5 years straight. If he was producing a play, I had an opportunity to portray a character or a role in the play. So for me at that time, being of the close-knit family, Vosa Rivers was then the chairman of the board. He had not yet taken the helm, if you will. But Roger gave us an opportunity as a black actor. At that time, there were 120 producing black theaters. If you can remember or imagine, now there's so few that are left, but at that time, it was a rich atmosphere and environment for a young talent to be nurtured. And so Roger Furman, at that time, he was on 125th Street, close to 5th Avenue, Madison Avenue, and walk up 3 flights of stairs, but he did theater and had an opportunity to work with him for those 5 years. After he transitioned, I came back and worked administratively with the theater producing, it was at that time that it was Vosa, Andre Robinson, Rick Rogers, and Phyllis Yvonne Stickney.
The only woman.
The only female.
As usual, we are alone.
Yes. That was the time that after Roger transitioned, I had a chance to come back and work as a producer, associate director, producer, and we brought Rosa Albert there for the first time.
Wow.
That it was performed in front of a black audience since it had left the townships of South Africa.
Wow.
So that was
Fantastic.
exciting. Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was
amazing.
an experience for us all, you know. And it was the foundation and for what was later built to become Committed Artist and some of the plays that came after that from South Africa. But to have been a part of the beginning of it for me, because I'd never seen theater like that. I'd never seen theater at that time. It was Percy and Mongani were the 2 actors that I'd never seen that level of performance in theater until I saw what came out of the townships of South Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been in Soweto, and I visited many years ago, and I understand what you're saying, because the culture and the power and the fire that comes out of that.
Fire and the intensity, and just knowing as a performing artist, the breath, and you know, because this is your instrument, and so to watch them perform. But there had been tooling, had Popinongena before Woza. That was, I believe, the first piece that came that we were introduced to that was quote unquote South African theater performances. But after that my first experience at that level was to see Woza Albert, and I'm glad that I had an opportunity to be very instrumental in making that happen in our theater.
Is it at those times that you were at Showtime at the Apollo, and I think Mr. Dave Chappelle opened for you?
Oh wow! Well, actually, it's 2 different times. I was at Showtime at the Apollo. It wasn't even Showtime at the Apollo yet. It was just the Apollo.
Oh, okay.
Right? It was the real live Apollo, and that was 1986. Yes, I am giving you a year for those. It was 1986, and I went to compete in just the regular amateur night, the historic amateur night, and I won first place.
Wow.
So as a result of that, there was a vocalist named Bobby Taylor, and he sang that night. But we all knew that the Apollo was a singer's house.
Yes.
So for me to come in first place in any level
and
as
you
a
were
comedian,
doing comedy?
I was a comedian, right? And so from that, I was asked to come back and do a return engagement or return performance, I should say. And at that time, they were taping because they wanted to do a pilot for it to become a television show.
Wow.
So that pilot, that was 20 minutes, 10 minutes was my performance of comedy, because I was slated to be the first host of Showtime at the Apollo. And so that happened, during those times, I was still working at a place called South Carolines, but it was
Oh yes.
South Street Seaport. They had the one on Broadway, but they had another that was down in on South Street Seaport. It was there that Dave Chappelle opened for me.
Wow.
That was where, when he was just starting, hadn't become the Dave Chappelle yet, and it was somewhere we were hanging out, and he asked, "Do you remember when I opened for you?" But it was so much, I laughed, because I didn't remember. I know, because there was so much life that I was going, living at that time, in terms of traveling back and forth, having 2 shows, and personal, trying to have a personal life. But I didn't remember. And then when he said it, South Street Seaport, and I remember, I said, "Oh, that's right. You were the little skinny guy, right?" He was the little skinny comic that had opened for me. And so, wow.
So Dave Chappelle
opened for me. He's
Phyllis
one of my
Stickney.
favorite. He's still one of my favorite comedians.
Among your credits, you have portrayals in different Hollywood blockbusters. So, like New Jack City,
Yes.
which was amazing. Malcolm X,
Yes.
even more. What's Love Got to Do with it?
What's Love Got to Do with it? With the amazing Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne, and just an amazing cast. Jennifer Lewis. It was Chi McBride. That was an amazing cast, an amazing opportunity. Yes.
And you played Tina's sister,
I
right?
played Tina's sister. Yes, Eileen. That's right. I played Eileen. In real life, that was her manager for a while. So I never got a chance to meet her in person. But as they talked about the casting process and her comment about me, she was like, well, she's pretty enough to play me, or she's cute enough to play me. So that was that was her comment, and it was a great time. I got to meet the Tina Turner as well, because they were gracious. The producers and Angela and Lawrence were very gracious, as was Miss Turner. But that's a historic piece, that film.
Yes.
And I'm honored to have been a part of the cast.
Everything we're talking about is historic.
Oh my goodness.
All these things we're talking about that you did are
Malcolm
historical.
X, we shot
Cults.
that.
They're cult movies.
Yes.
All of them.
They are now the movies. I think about the Lenox Lounge is no more. Well, we shot the scene with Malcolm or Red. He was Red at that time at the Lenox Lounge, which is now a bank.
I can't believe it. I do not understand how they let the Lenox Lounge not be a mark building.
A landmark
building.
Absolutely.
That should have been a landmark.
Small's
building.
Paradise should have been a landmark. St. Nick's Pub should have been a landmark. But we won't take that turn right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of all these amazing movies and theaters and TV that you've done, which ones are the ones that gave you most satisfaction, and those that maybe the obstacles that you had?
Oh, well, there's always a behind the scenes story, So the casting processes are always interesting if I just really think about each one. But each one was special to me. I enjoy the work, to be honest. I enjoy the work. I enjoy working. I enjoy the process of working and how it is informed and articulated in my life and experience. So each one of them was special for a different reason.
Yes.
The Women of Brewster Place was back then they did ABC Movies of the Week, right?
Wow.
And so that was a movie of the week. But for me, it was the first time that I had an opportunity to portray a lead role, a character that was inspired by my cousin, Betty Jean, who still lives. She still is alive, and the age difference was such that I thought she was my aunt, right? But she's my cousin. She's my mother's oldest sister's first child. So, but she had maybe 9 children.
Oh my God.
And so, but I remember, even to this day, they still cling to her. Her place is the gathering place for the children, her children, their friends, their wives, and now their families. So she had that kind of love. But so she was inspiration. Women of Brewster Place was important for me because it was my vindication. I was coming off of a different world where I had been cast but not really utilized, and then ultimately released, from the main cast. And so Women of Brewster Place was my time to show them that I can act. I am an actor. I know what you said over there, Miss Beats. But now you gotta what? Oh, yeah. Because what? Who can act? So it meant that for me. And Reuben Cannon, who was then our casting director, was amazing in allowing me to fulfill that role. So that was exciting. The Women of Brewster Place, I said that. What's Love Got to Do with It was exciting because I got a chance to work with Fishburne and Miss Bassett, and see that becoming the story. To watch her commitment was amazing. And the casting process of that. Die Hard with a Vengeance, the Bruce Willis franchise.
Yes.
That was amazing. But it was amazing for two reasons. I studied production, and so the producer of that, a man named Michael Tad Ross, had been my mentor, one of my mentors working in production.
Oh, wow.
And so here I had been behind the scene and on the crew, and he would always say, "Why do you want to be an actor? Why, Stickney? What, are you crazy? You want to be a broke actor? What are you talking about?" And he says, you should work in production. You're really good. So I remember one day I got tired of him always teasing me about wanting to be an actor. And I said, you know what, Tad Ross, I'm as good an actor as I am in production, right?
Good.
But I'm grateful to him for, and all the people that were at the Institute of New Cinema Artists, where I was graduated and learned filmmaking. I was behind the scenes before I ever got on camera.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I started behind the scenes.
Wow.
That's what I studied, was filmmaking and television production. Never thinking I'd be the one on camera. Never thinking I'd be the talent. And here, But I like the fact that I know the behind the scenes. I think that's what makes my time on the set more important and valuable, because I respect everybody that's there. I know that each person there has a responsibility and a role that makes the actor, the talent, look good and supports that performance. Because if the lighting man didn't get his thing right, the sound man doesn't get it right, if the set doesn't look right, if costume isn't right, makeup, hair isn't right, it makes a difference. And so having come from behind the scenes to the set makes a difference, and I think it makes a difference for those people that I work with on the set. Yeah, because I respect what they do.
And that's very, very important.
Yeah, I respect what they do.
Extremely important, because that creates a atmosphere of confidence and relaxation also.
Yeah.
It's not stress when they know that you know what
that I know. Yeah, I know. I know that you need me to sit here or be still. I know that. I know. So I love that. I love working as an actor now in a situation where I know that we're all. This is a collaborative effort.
Exactly.
I might get the name going, at the top of the run or the top of the film or the production, but that credit roll, I watched the credit roll because I know each one of those people had a hand in it. Yeah.
You are also fresh off an appearance on the Sherry Show.
Oh yes, that was
fabulous.
Yes, Sherry Shepherd, Cheryl Underwood. I have to thank them both. I have to thank the producers, John Murray and Greg, and I don't want to mispronounce his name, Piccioli. They were just wonderful to me. To had received the call that was informing me that I had been selected, and they wanted to know if I was interested, and I was like, absolutely. And they said, well, when the conversation was being had about people that were pioneers or trendsetters in comedy, and Cheryl Underwood called your name, and Sherry Shepherd lit up like a Christmas tree.
Wow.
We knew we had to reach out, and I was like, are you serious? Thank you so much. So yes, it just aired. I'm sure it's still on her site as well, her Sherry Show site. But it was fun. I love doing it. I was honored, and grateful to be remembered. Yeah, absolutely. Especially in comedy, because a lot of people don't know what my role really was.
Yeah.
Selling Showtime at the Apollo Network Television, and never really having the opportunity to hold the mic as the host, like I was scheduled to do initially.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful now. I'm not mad at anybody. I would like the truth to be told, so
Yeah.
this is an opportunity that I get a chance to tell the truth a little bit more
Yeah.
than people know, because it was hard. I'm grateful, and I'm proud of Steve and Kim and Sinbad and all those that held the mic. But I knew that I was the one that made that spot,
possible.
important, that they had me slotted. But the politics of Hollywood took, robbed me of that opportunity. So.
And why do you think so? Because of men and all that?
Well, I think it was because I didn't have an agent at that time. And sometimes the words that an agent can speak in a situation, the artist can't speak.
Yeah.
And I was just an independent artist who knew that I was fighting for myself. I was a woman alone in a business of men.
Yes.
So Dave Harding and Bob Banner, I can never forget them, because they were the two men it was a Bob Banner production. And Dave Harding was the man that I dealt with, face to face. But when I had something to say about a decision they made, it should have been my agent that delivered that message.
Yeah.
But I delivered it.
Yeah.
And I paid for that,
Yeah.
But I still love the mind that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I am an independent and clear thinker. And because I know this industry, I knew what I was talking about. It's like someone asking me to do a show and then saying, well, I'll pay you later. And that used to happen often for me when I was working in clubs as a comedian.
Yeah.
And, up and coming. And so they would say, oh, yeah, we'll go to the bar and have a drink. I said, no, I don't need a drink. When you pay me my money, I can buy my own.
Yes.
Well, I'll pay you after. I said, no, you pay me now. Because I can't take back my performance.
Mm-hmm.
Once I've given it,
once it's done, it's
I
done.
can't take it back. So I'm going to need you to pay me now. And if not, I'll just press on. Then I don't mean nails, so.
And this is Phyllis. She can do the most incredible voices and accents and everything. You are amazing.
Thank
you are
you.
amazing.
I am grateful,
You're amazing.
grateful.
So now you are returning
Yes.
to comedy in Harlem stage
Yes.
on Saturday the 4th of March.
Yes.
And you're doing your one-woman conscious comedy show,
Yes.
Royal to Ratched.
Royal to
Tell us-
Ratched, yes. March 4th, I'm telling them tonight, actually. Tonight. Because tonight it'll be 2 shows, 8 o'clock and probably 10 o'clock, because we think we're going to sell out that 8, if we haven't already. I'll be doing comedy in Harlem. It's on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
And Royal to Ratched was a conversation that I was having. It's like we were royal.
Mm-hmm.
We were the top of the line. Everybody wanted to aspire to be like the quote unquote Black American, right? Now we've gone to Ratched. We went from royal, queens, kings to Ratched. Just twerking.
But now you're back.
Yes, so I had a
Wakanda
conversation.
and all the
Yes,
royals.
bringing class back. I'm coming back to bring some class back.
And that is fantastic.
We need it. We need it. We need it.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, if you just can look at what's happening in fashion, and if you look at, we got pasties now. You know what I mean? That's on the runway, right? That's going to be the high fashion is pasties. I don't think so. I don't think that's a good thing for us to be aspiring to do, to wear pasties down the street. And we know that some people cannot take the visual stimulation. For example, me, right? I wear my things below the Bermuda Triangle, if you will. You know what I mean? I just do. I'm not trying to have any distractions going on, right? But now the girls are. It's like I say we're breeding hoes now. They don't have clothes. They got hoe gear. They don't have really clothes anymore. It's like hoe gear. What do you go? Which hoe gear would you like to have? Hoe gear by this designer. Hoe gear by this
It's
designer.
very, very
It's
true.
all
what you
hoe
say.
gear.
It's very, very true. I mean, even on airplanes flying, I see girls with these shorts that
Right,
go up
what
to
is
here.
that?
You're
And
freezing in an airplane.
Right,
You
the
can't fly like that.
hoochification.
Why are you doing that?
It's the hoochification of America, right? The hoochification of America, and they're the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening, and before your eyes, you see things like you would have never seen that before.
No.
Never.
But
And-
not even when they had the hot pants, so when
No,
they were
no,
not so
No,
everybody,
the hot
even
pants-
those who can wear them, wearing them.
Right, right. Some people need to not, and I'm not saying if you'll be proud of what you were born with and whatever. However, it's too much information.
I like that. I like the way you put it. Too much information.
It's
That's
too much
good.
information.
So let's talk about something very serious. Your serious side, the activism and social engagement. You work with at-risk youth, and you are committed to making a positive difference. And this earned you the inclusion in Essence Magazine's 25th anniversary publication as the African American women who have changed the world.
Yes, one of the 200 African American women who's changed the world, and comedy was my tool.
Tell us about that, because
Yeah.
that your engagement with kids
Yes.
and being on this issue. Tell us a little bit about that. We are nearly
It's
towards
love
the
and
end.
comedy. It's love. It's for me, first of all, it's love. I really get it. I really understand that love without an X or a K, you know what I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
Just love is what was missing, the missing ingredient. And so I try to take that overstanding and that knowledge and infuse it with some information that I know probably if there wasn't a parental guidance in the home, or if there wasn't a familial or biological, a lot of our children are coming out of group homes and different kinds of family configurations. And so for me, these programs, be it Life Beyond the Block or whatever, were programs that I saw a need in our community, and fulfilling that need through theater, through programs, but all infused with love and understanding and sensitivity for what the Black experience has been in America.
Using your art as a platform for this is fundamental. I think this is, not everybody does that though, who has that influence. So you are also the founder of Advocates for Diversity, right?
Advocates for Diversity in the Arts was actually just an outgrowth of me feeling the need that there were artists such as myself that people assume, oh, well, she's done this or she's done that, so she's fine. But they might need, or an emerging artist that might need support on a project or a campaign or something, maybe housing, you don't know. So this was about finding an artist, identifying a veteran or seasoned artist, an emerging artist, and supporting each of them in a project that they needed supported in.
So bringing them together and
yeah, the intergenerational I
Yes.
think is important, and so an emerging
because the
and
experience that teaches the new
Yeah.
generation.
yes,
This is wonderful. It's giving back.
yes.
You are giving
Gotta
back
give
all
back.
the time.
That's the rent I pay for being on the earth. My service.
That's very, very important. We have only 1 minute left. So, what's your next after this comedy show here in Harlem? What else do you want to do? What's in your
The vision for me, or the vision of the future for what I would like to see, as I'd like to continue, so that ultimately we have a studio that's owned by us and operated by us, and that we're able to train others, apprentice others in every discipline of filmmaking, every discipline of building, home building or construction. And so I'm going home to Arkansas and the Delta to do those things, and hopefully home across the water on the continent to do more.
Fantastic. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Phyllis Yvonne Stickney.
Thank you, Maria.
I am so happy you found the time
I'm glad to be
to
invited.
be with us. We have known each other for a few years now,
Yes.
and I've always admired your incredible talent and the way you go about showing your talent and on stage and outside the stage. So,
Grazie, grazie, grazie.
okay.
Molto.
And thank you to the viewers of My Harlem Portrait for being with us. See you next Saturday, 12:30. Bye-bye.